I had this big, expensive, fancy opening planned if I had won this week. Welcome back, fake football managers, to this week's Manager's Message.
Hello there.
Not a whole lot has changed. The Seminoles still on top of the bunch. Wacky Razzles sitting firmly in the second spot. And everybody else is just fighting for scraps. Motherfucking Tumbles has definitely pulled his ass out of the gutter. And somehow I fell directly into the gaping hole that he left at the bottom of the pack. And then there's Dave, who through 8 games has managed 2 wins. Alright, I'm really running behind on this. First, let's look into last week's matchups. First, we have the motherfucking Tumbles with a 90-point victory.
Say what?
Over the Deadly Venoms. I mean, this was a complete and utter beatdown. Basically, everyone on Tumble's team had a good game, except the quarterback, really. And for Jerry, Saquon Barkley's 18 points was the best anyone could manage on his team. 77 points isn't gonna get it done for you, Jerry. Tell your team to show up to work.
Work.
And the next biggest blowout is Hostile's 34-point victory over Simply Slats. Slats had a really big game from Josh Allen, but pretty much no one else showed up. You had a couple of guys put up 16, but generally you want more out of your starter than that.
Give me one more.
Also, pretty much everyone showed up for you. Jalen Hurts had a big game. ETN, another big game. Eckler finally showed up. Addison had a big game. And your tight end had another big game. Really not much of a game here. Hossa put up a pretty good score. And Slats' team let him down.
How could you do this to me?
Next up, we have Super Duper Wacky Razzles and their 27-point victory over my Polk High Panthers. We are in a spiraling nosedive into the ground. 131 is a pretty good day. The quarterback I picked up off of waivers put up 37. However, he threw every single ball to stupid-ass CeeDee Lamb. 43 points out of Lamb, 28 out of Tua, 20 out of Hall, 28 out of Tyreek Hill.
Now I want to cry, but I can't cry.
Every time my team tried to step up to the challenge, his team scored another touchdown. Either way, I'm pretty happy with how my team performed. 4th best score of the week, although that didn't get me a win.
You lose! Good day, sir!
Next up, we have the Austin, Texas G-Dog Warriors and their 26-point victory over the Darkside Grey Wolf. Patrick Mahomes had 5 points. That's pretty much how this game went.
I'm sorry this is happening to you.
Grey Wolves didn't have a single player that broke 20 this week. That is going to be hard to win games. The G-Dog Warriors pretty much did it with 3 guys. McCaffrey, Kamara, and Hawkerson. I think the McCaffrey-Kamara combination is going to be very deadly for us the longer the season goes.
Silent, but deadly.
Eventually, Cooper Kupp is going to wake up for you, and that's just going to put more points on this already fairly high-scoring team. And this tells you what kind of nail-biters we had this week. The smallest margin of victory is the Noles' 21-point win over the South Park Cows.
A little bit of everything.
I think the Cows are just happy to have broken 100. Joe Burrow actually showed up for you, and I guess Evan Ingram had a pretty good game, but otherwise, not really good. Seminoles got a big game from Herbert and AJ Brown again. That guy is a beast. And then Derrick Henry had a pretty decent day as well. 130 points is a pretty good score. It wouldn't have won in the game that I had to play in, but you know, you can't always be playing Dave.
Poor, bad.
Alright, let's move on to this week. First up, we have my Polk High Panthers having to take on the number 1 team in the league, the Seminoles. Now, the Seminoles already had 2 of their players going, Pittsburgh D and Derrick Henry. Both of your players did a little bit better than their projection. Derrick Henry giving you 18 is definitely good, but I am happy that it wasn't any worse.
We thank you so much for this bountiful harvest of Domino's, KFC, and the always delicious Taco Bell.
Either way, good start for you with 30 points out of 2 players. I have 2 of my starters on a bye this week. ESPN is projecting him to beat the crap out of me. I'm having to bring in T. Higgins and Zach Moss. Hopefully Those guys will score touchdowns if nothing else. I don't really have a lot of faith. I just have to hope that Ryan's team either gets hurt or doesn't get the ball very much. Next up, we have the South Park Cows taking on the Darkside Grey Wolf. Neither of these teams had anyone playing on Thursday night. Like any game that Darkside Grey Wolves is involved in, this will come down to the Patrick Mahomes Taylor Swift boyfriend connection.
Why you gotta be so mean?
That's generally where most of your points come from every week. Mostert, Mixon, even McLaurin have been doing good stuff for you, but you need Mahomes and Kelsey. For the Cows, I don't know what the hell's going on. ESPN has you projected for 100. If that's your projection, you're in deep trouble. Darrell Henderson Jr., hopefully he gets like 3 one-yard touchdowns, but that's kind of what you're hoping for. DJ Moore, I don't even think they have a quarterback. And Njoku hasn't probably caught a football in a month.
I'm a little out of sorts today.
I'm kidding, he's been alright, but you have a very, very high mountain to climb. Probably gonna side with Grey Wolves here, especially since I don't want any chance of me falling into the very last spot in this league. Next up, we have Simply Slats taking on the Austin, Texas G-Dog Warriors. Simply Slats had Deontay Johnson playing on Thursday night. 22 points out of him is a very good score. He was only projected for 14, so that is a very nice come up with him. If there ever was a week to beat up on the G-Dog Warriors, it's this one. They are going through some crazy bye-week troubles. Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, Christian McCaffrey, all on the bench.
I'm ready to go in, Coach. Just give me a chance.
I think Simply Slats has some good matchups here and has a chance to take out the G-Dog Warriors. The Warriors are going to need Cooper Kupp to step up and take on the McCaffrey role this week. If he does, that can offset the bye-week woes and maybe take another win during a week that you should have lost. If Cooper Kupp can show up for you, you might have a chance to offset the bye-week woes that you have. But since he's already gotten off to a pretty good start, I'm gonna have to lean Simply Slats in this matchup.
No, I don't think so.
Here we go, the motherfucking Tumbles on a roll trying to take out the super duper Wacky Razzles. Honestly, on paper, this looks to be one of the better matchups. ESPN is projecting this to be a pretty close game, and they give super duper Wacky Razzles the edge. I think it's all coming down to Tua and Tyreek for super duper Wacky Razzles. When those guys have big games, he has a big game.
Sometimes they say huge.
I also think that Dallas is a pretty good matchup for CeeDee Lamb and for Tony Pollard. Those guys could probably have a pretty good game. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in that Philly Cowboy game. I think that Kittle on a bye and Gibbs on a bye is definitely going to hurt the Tumbles' chance this week. So I'm probably going to have to lean super duper Wacky Razzles for this one as well. And finally, we have the Deadly Venoms taking on Hostile.
You friggin' gays!
This is kind of an interesting matchup. Hossa is dealing with some bye week woes, and the Deadly Venoms are dealing with some injuries and other things. ESPN is projecting both of these guys at 106 apiece. Looks like it's going to be an epic week of football for these two. Both of you using Green Bay running backs is quite an interesting strategy. For Hossa, if Jalen Hurts and Austin Eckler have a big game, you should be okay. For Deadly Venoms, you really run through Lamar. If he has a big game, you should be okay. But honestly, any one of your guys could go off on any given day. I do think this will be close. I have a feeling that Jerry's going to take this one down. I hope he does. I can't let Hossa get more wins than me.
Because I am better.
At what?
Everything.
Alright guys, there you go, the 9th edition of the Manager's Message. Good luck this week to everyone but the Seminoles. I hope that you lose very badly. Very badly.
Let the motherfucker burn.
But everyone else, good luck. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to set your lineups. Don't leave injured players in there. You're just giving Ryan another win. And now this week's inspirational message.
Good morning. Good morning.
In less than an hour, aircraft from here will join others from around the world. And you will be launching the largest aerial battle in the history of mankind. Mankind, that word should have new meaning for all of us today. We can't be consumed by our petty differences anymore. we will be united in our common interest. Perhaps it's fate that today is the 4th of July, and you will once again be fighting for our freedom. Not from tyranny, oppression, or persecution, but from annihilation. We're fighting for our right to live, to exist. And should we win the day, the 4th of July will no longer be known as an American holiday, but as the day when the world declared in one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're going to live on. We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.